Hello and welcome to my in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 20th of December for the Sun or the Ascendant. As ever, I'm going to give you the major strands of this week before diving deep and in forensic detail giving you each of the 12 zodiac sign forecasts, so please stay with me for that. This week is going to see the Sun arrive in the sign of Capricorn on Tuesday, but this also heralds the winter solstice. So we're entering the fourth quadrant of the Western tropical astrological year, so the last 13 weeks run. So this is a really notable transition. The sign of Capricorn is very much to do with structures, it's to do with the more traditional features of life. It can be an area that we have a focus on goals and ambitions, and therefore to do with our professional interactions, but not exclusively. Of course, the sign of Capricorn is Earth, and it is cardinal, so it's very much a sign of leadership. So the free-spirited energy of Sagittarius makes way for the more somber vibe of Capricorn, but we still have Mars in Sagittarius, which is a very adventurous combination. And in fact, by the end of this week, Mars is forging a super link with Saturn. So when we get the energy of Mars combining collaboratively with the structural energies of Saturn, that can be very positive. Now, as this week begins, we also have Mercury in a terrific angle with Uranus across the first 3 days. Mercury already in the sign of Capricorn, dazzling in the electric link with Uranus, asks us to be very open-minded about how we deploy our resources. Anything to do with business decisions as well. The more innovative we are, the better it can be. Remember, the full moon from last week is still very, very potent this week. And that's basically saying to us that we need to use our language carefully. The everyday communications of the moon in Gemini competing with the more expansive energies of the sun in Sagittarius. So choosing our words carefully this week continues to be a theme. If we're traveling anywhere, important to check out things carefully. But Jupiter was very supportive to that particular lunation. So I think there can be some uplift from that feeds into this week. But by Friday, by Christmas Eve, we do have the square between Saturn and Uranus repeating itself exactly for the third time this year. But you know, the truth is, within a few degrees, they've actually been agitating at one another pretty well since about the second week of January. But this just reminds us that the liberty that Uranus wants us to have has to be balanced against the responsibilities that Saturn wants us to show. So there could be something that is stopping us being quite as free as we would like on Christmas Eve. And then on Christmas Day, we have the second of two conjunctions between Venus and Pluto. The first was on the 11th of December, and of course last week Venus went into its retrograde. Now this could bring about some real lovely sentimental connections, perhaps to people from our past. Perhaps we can really appreciate how fortunate we are to have the folks in our life that we have had. But if you're in a relationship where there is quite a lot of leverage around money or even intimacy, Venus's combination with Pluto can make us much more conscious of the power balance that's going on Christmas Day as well. Can you believe it? So that's a potentially tricky one, but definitely an opportunity to celebrate the stability of the relationships that do work well for us. And if you're not in a relationship, or even spending this Christmas time alone, which I have experienced myself, and it's not easy, what I would say to you is this does give you an opportunity to think very profoundly about what you would like going into next year, future forward. But I am now going to share with you each of the 12 zodiac signs in detail. But just before I do, remember, if you'd like to sign up for your free daily horoscope, written horoscope, direct to your device each morning, please see the link beneath this video. Also, if you'd like to get your year 2022 personal forecast, you can do so and get your character analysis as well. You will get the full 12 months from the time of the order to the end of next year. If you order in January, you will get 12 months from that point, but 30% off too. Hello Scorpio, and welcome to your week commencing the 20th of December weekly horoscope forecast. So Christmas week for you is likely to be really full of a lot of communications. Now, you can be a very private sign, often quite forthright in terms of your views of others, but not always quite so out there when it comes to expressing your more private thoughts. But the combination between Venus, the planet of relating, and Pluto, your modern ruler, which is about transformation, gives you a great opportunity. Even though Venus is retrograde, you could find yourself saying things, particularly to neighbours or siblings, that maybe you haven't quite felt the time was right to express in the past. Also, of course, Saturn is in the fourth house of emotion, home and family, and is clashing with Uranus, particularly on Christmas Eve. And if you are needing to spend time with people where it feels a bit cramped and you're sort of yearning a little bit of space, the fact that your traditional ruler Mars is in the second house, well, that suggests you're certainly going to enjoy the festive fare when it comes to good food, good wine. But what I would say is, with all this third house energy, would it be a good idea to perhaps get out, go for a walk, or engage with something that really stimulates your mind? So that could be a really good book, it could be a new device that someone gives you or that you've decided to treat yourself to. But find stimulation for yourself this week and find some diversions if you do feel a bit claustrophobic. And obviously the COVID regulations mean that we might not be able to move around quite as freely as we would like. But if you are in the process of restructuring something in your world in quite a fundamental way, and Christmas is not an inconvenience, but it just happens to be there as you're making these big changes, the fact that Mars links very well to Saturn as this week draws to a close is very, very encouraging. And I think even if you have some conversations with family members over Christmas, get different viewpoints, I think as you emerge from this week, you will have a lot more insight into your own needs. And perhaps for once, you've actually told people how you feel with a degree of delicacy, and hopefully they will have heard your point of view in the way that you wish. I'm wishing you a very happy Christmas and goodbye for now.